My last crafts video was a disaster, and I want to redeem myself, so today I'm doing something I'm actually not terrible at. Crochet. There is this incredible crochet artist on Instagram who designs mostly Hoyoverse character plushies and sells the patterns. I've bought and made a few of theirs before, with varying degrees of success. I honestly don't know what happened to Sunday, but they don't have a pattern of one of my favorite Hoyo characters, Jing Yuan. And I want nothing more than to have a small, beady-eyed Jing Yuan made of string. So I figured I'd give winging the pattern a shot. How hard could this possibly be? The head seemed like the easiest place to start. It's the same for each character. I always think this part looks vaguely uncomfortable. One of his eyes is covered by his hair, so not to waste resources, I just gave him one eye. I immediately regretted this when I went to add his ears, as I have no point of reference for the left one. I just kind of guessed. I think that's even. Probably. Don't start stressing yet. The dodginess only gets worse from here. We're just gonna leave him bald for a bit. Next, I need to make the base of his body. I just have to look at the model, work out what areas are generally what color, and match that. For his pants, I only had this burgundy color or a red so bright it doesn't even show on camera. Neither of them are the right color, but I think the not fluorescent one matches best, so I went with that. Close enough is more than good enough for me. His sleeves are kind of poofy, so I tried to recreate that. And to be fair, I don't see how I could have done much better. To make the rest of his body, I need to know what I'm doing for his clothes, but to make those, I need the body. Obviously, I can't do both, so I opted to use the third secret method of making the body, guessing where the colors should change, and praying it actually works out later. Yeah, that looks like where his shirt should be, sure. His neck is kind of weird as he has a white collar with black underneath. I should have just ignored the black part and done it all skin tone, but I didn't. Honestly, I was regretting it before I even did it. I don't know why I committed to it. I think I had faith in future me, but I didn't account for the fact future me is still me. And with that, the base is done. If you're using the doll for voodoo magic purposes, feel free to stop here. Otherwise, continuing on to the hair. This entire video is just me winging it, but the hair really is just a complete guess. I chain a random number, do some slip stitches, single crochets and half double crochets where I think they should be, look at it on his head and either undo it all and try again, or keep it if I get lucky and it turned out how I was expecting it to. And then I do this over and over again until I have the base layer. Now I've got to get this octopus looking mess into some form of order on his head. This process involves a lot of guessing what me a couple hours ago was thinking, regretting every single choice I made and realizing to fix it I'd have to undo everything. So I just accept my poor decisions instead. And now we have a very flat looking Jing Yuan. Not the worst, right? Right? With faith in the process, I continue on. I do the next layer of random strands for his fringe before deciding I am too chicken to try and make the ponytail yet. So to delay that, it's time for the hot glue gun. Don't judge it, it's like 15 years old. That's why it looks feral. How can I explain this? Hot glue is my saving grace sent by God, but it is also fully aware of this and makes sure to keep me humble every time I use it. Just 5 minutes using this thing and I come out with third-degree burns every time. Not to mention all this stringy residue that looks like a spider has had the time of its life on anything I make, which is normal for here in Australia but will probably stand out to any international viewers. Nonetheless, I managed to get it all stuck down, now forcing me to attempt the ponytail. See how it starts on the side of his head and gets pulled up? I can't really do that, as all my starting points for strands of hair are on the top of his head. I could have totally just crocheted some strands separately and glued them on, but for some reason unknown to both you and me, I did not want to do that. So instead, I made 3 really long strands and kind of wrap them around the side of his head. It's not correct, but it's not horrible. To hide that mess, I just crocheted 7 strands across the top of his head. And to hide that mess, I added the final layer to his fringe. One last battle with hot glue and a red bow later, we have completed the head. It is not a Honkai Star Rail character without unnecessary belts everywhere, so I used some black and grey yarn to embroider those on. I actually hated how they looked and redid them later, but I didn't film that. 3 months later. Wait, what? I don't know, it just kind of happened. Time for the outfit. Like I said a second or a couple months ago, Hoyo clothing is a nightmare. There is no way to pack all this detail into a small doll, so I just have to figure out the main shapes and do my best from there. Okay, so for his belt, I just broke it down into 2 black rectangles. I tried crocheting around the edges for the gold detailing, but, well, that just looks terrible, doesn't it? So I pulled that apart and ended up embroidering it instead, which looks nothing looking like his model, but I don't have a better idea. If I made a crochet piece for the front of his shirt, it would stick out too much and look weird. Also, that shape is not going to happen anyway. So I thought I would just embroider it on. This time though, it actually looks almost correct. Aside from the fact it's really off center. In the moment, I either didn't notice or didn't care, so it's going to stay like that. Now, I was genuinely proud of this. I don't have a metal thing that's the right shape for his belt buckle, but I do have a giant star. Do you see the vision? Just cut all the extra bits off, give it a good sand, and there you have it. By the way, is powdered plastic safe to ingest? Because I did just sand that on my dining table. I'm sure it'll be fine. All his fabricy bits were pretty easy, and doing the edging with single crochets actually worked this time, which was nice. I didn't film any of it, but I also added a black strap to one arm and a circle to the other, as well as some more embroidery on his shoulders to better match his model. I also made a collar to cover all that mess on his neck I made at the start. This is my one and only genuine crochet tip of the video. Thread scissors are perfect for shoving in loose ends. The front looks great, the back not so much, but it'll be covered, mostly. Now for more hot glue. I get the collar on and go to put the belt on, but realize I made them way too short. Nothing a bit of pulling and praying can't fix. I had the opposite problem with the white parts. I made them too long and now they overlap. A giant gap formed on his back, so I'm just going to shove a giant gem that's not at all in his design there to cover it. I know I've said a lot of stuff is impossible in this video, but the lion on his shoulder is like actually impossible, so that becomes a gem instead. And his feat of engineering belt buckle goes on too. And would you look at that? Everything is still not centered, but it is all far too late to fix that. The flappy things on his back make it on too. Finally, I get some tiny little gems out and glue them on his shoulder and neck. There is so much detail missing from his belt, like this part that comes down, so I tried to make it and it turned out so bad. I probably could have worked something out, but I guess I only had one attempt's worth of effort in me. For the final details, it was a toss-up between these two colors. If you like the left one best, then sorry I used the right one. I embroidered the line across his neck. Wow, that really just brings everything together, doesn't it? For his scroll, I think that's what it is, I cut off a bit of a wooden skewer. Oh yeah, I actually managed to find my scalpel after losing it last time, if you cared about that at all. I doubt it. I kind of accidentally did it all off screen. I am so great at this YouTubing thing, I know. But basically, I put glue all over the wood and wrapped the yarn around it. And for the gold parts, I glued some beads to either end. It looks horrific up close, but passable from a distance. So I make it permanent by hot gluing it to him. All that's left is to pour an ungodly amount of hot glue into his head and shove it on. And I'm done. Here he is. He's cute, right? Right? I tried to take some aesthetic photos of him outside, but as you can see, they did not turn out well. So let's just look at the boring ones instead. I am genuinely happy with how this turned out. There's stuff missing and stuff that's straight up wrong, for sure, but I mean, I successfully made Jing Yuan out of string. If nothing else, I'm sure we can all agree it's better than that monstrosity I made last time. Thank you for your time.